I have the privilege this morning of interviewing a coworker of mine who works in the Curriculum Development Department, Robert Velarde, who has written a book called The Wisdom of Pixar. I read it and I felt it was good enough that I wanted to share it with you all. And I have an opportunity to interview Robert as some of the questions that why he wrote the book that he did. Can you tell us why you wrote a book called The Wisdom of Pixar?
Well, I really love Pixar, so I kind of wrote it as a fan, and I'm also a father and a philosopher, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to write about some of the moral virtues and positive things you see in film, because we see a lot of dark and negative films, and Pixar does a very good job of communicating positive messages and hope and moral goodness, so I thought it would be great to do that.
Can you give an example of what that would look like?
Sure. One of my favorite Pixar movies is The Incredibles, and this is the one about the superhero family. And I just love the scene with Frozone, who's voiced by Samuel Jackson, who's getting ready to have a dinner out with his wife, and this giant robot begins attacking the city. And I love that he is so eager to find his super suit. He just wants to get out there and do what's right. And I talk about courage in relation to The Incredibles, and how Frozone really doesn't need a book on ethics to let him know what to do. He's instinctively got that moral character in him to do what's right. So I'd like to be able to instill that in my kids and in others who read the book.
I think Jesus used a lot of parables to teach. Would you say that this is a similar type of a model?
I think so. I think film in some Christian circles is viewed negatively. Sometimes maybe we embrace it too much, but I think we need to start adapting to see it as a new storytelling method. And if we can integrate that in a way to help ourselves and our children grow in virtue, I think that's a great thing.
That's good. Can you tell us what your favorite Pixar movie is and why?
My favorite Pixar movie is Finding Nemo, and it's been my favorite for a number of years. Probably, I think, because the message there is very much about a father and his relationship to his son. And I have 4 children, and it very much resonates with me how we kind of have this balance as parents as being overprotective or preparing our children for the world. And I think there's some really good lessons in Nemo about that.
Well, I'd recommend you pick up this book and find out what virtues mean. We probably should start with identifying even what virtue means. Can you define that for us?
Sure. Virtue very much is an ethics term, and it has to do really with moral excellence or moral goodness. And as a Christian theologian, I would define it more as virtue being excellence of the soul, that really incorporates our whole character and how we can make decisions that are morally good in light of God's wishes.
Well, I think as parents we should all strive to encourage our children to grow in virtue. And I think Robert's book does a very nice job of showing us even how to possibly do that better, more effectively as parents. So please feel free to pick it up. We have it on the Sonlight website, and enjoy.